it's tough to deal with a loss, especially this time of year. A lot of things to honor family that you might have lost, and they all come to a head around the holidays.
So what is the best way to deal with all of that grief? Well, Kayla Waldschmidt with Horizon Home Care and Hospice is here, and she's got some tips on kind of how to get through the next few months. And we were just saying before we came on the air that at your organization, people start looking down the road and thinking, okay, here we go, the holiday season is coming. It's obviously a big time of year for a lot of folks.
There's a lot of anxiety that goes on this time of year. There's a lot of pressure to be happy, to be upbeat, and to participate in all the traditions that maybe you used to do with your family at a moment when you're feeling probably your worst. Because the grief intensifies this time of year, even if you lost somebody 1 or more years ago.
Yeah, so unfortunately a lot of us have come to kind of expect that year after year. But why is it? I mean, is it because we're surrounded by family?
I think we're surrounded by family, we're grieving that traditions have changed, and we're missing that person. And our grief never fully goes away. And so each year as we reach an important day, even like that gentleman, Wednesdays are now important. So every Wednesday he's thinking of his mom. Every holiday we're thinking of everyone that we lost, and the grief comes back and it intensifies during this time of year.
But there are ways obviously that you can maybe not fix things, but you can make it a little more manageable.
Absolutely. Number one is just to have a plan. Some people think they're going to throw the covers over their head and sleep through the holiday season, and we can't avoid it. It's there at every turn, and there's a lot of pressure. So just having a plan, consulting with your family and friends to find out what is most important and meaningful about this holiday season. How can you incorporate that and maybe let the rest go? Or if you need to completely change things, to give yourself permission to do that too.
Yeah, and like you said here from our Real Story submission, Sean was saying, just to acknowledge it and to honor that family member. A lot of people want to pretend the whole family just walks around all Christmas not talking about it.
Right. The best thing you can do is share your feelings and talk about it. It relieves that tension. Otherwise, everybody's holding it in really tight, trying not to cry, and they can't have a good time and enjoy each other. So just talking about it, acknowledging it, and including your loved one in that celebration somehow, recognizing that they're important to you.
Right, because if you keep it inside, I mean, if we've learned this and we've learned it from so many sources, but yet somehow we don't learn it, that keeping it in is not going to do anybody any good.
Absolutely. It's one of the hardest things to acknowledge it and to feel it, but it really does make the holiday season go so much better if you let it out.
Some special advice for any caregivers out there, and I know there's a lot of people who are doing that. So special circumstances to consider when it comes to this time of year as well.
Recognize what the limitations are going to be. Maybe you can't have everybody over for a full day holiday celebration. Maybe your loved one can only tolerate 1 or 2 hours of having busyness around. Or if your loved one's in a facility, can you bring some of that important holiday traditions to them at the facility? A lot of places have conference rooms that you can rent out, or you can decorate their room and bring that tradition to them. So find the important pieces and just stick to those.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for people to make the change. I think sometimes the change is as hard as everything else that's going on.
It is. We have to grieve the loss of the traditions, and we may need to step up and take the role that maybe our loved one had during the holiday season to maintain those traditions. Or we may need to just start something new and grieve the fact that we won't have that anymore.
All right. Kayla here from Horizon Home Care and Hospice. Very good advice. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.